Mirchi FM is #1 in Singapore.
I love Mirchi FM, it's so hot.
Deke me lala, kai me hi. Tangi tau me.
Mirchi FM is hot.
Here at Rugby Town, Singatoka love listening to Mirchi FM. Mirchi FM, it's hot.
Mirchi FM is #1 in Suva.
It's hot.
Mirchi FM, bon julum.
Mirchi FM, it's hot.
In this bulletin, National Federation Party manifesto adopts some policies of the current government. Vorenge Bainimarama says he was pressured into March 2009 election commitment. A new batch of troops off to Golan Heights for peacekeeping duties. Good evening, I'm Jackie Spate and this is FBC News. The National Federation Party in its manifesto has endorsed some of the policies of the Bainimarama government. Although critical of the current administration, party leader Biman Prasad, speaking exclusively to FBC News, says if elected, they will continue with some of the current policies. Chanel Sivan with this report.
As this bulletin goes on air tonight, the National Federation Party is launching its manifesto in Suva. Party leader Biman Prasad says along with their own policies, the NFP will adopt some existing government measures.
We will keep the increase in per capita grant for the schools that this government has provided, and it's been appreciated by the people, and the NFP will maintain that. The second thing that the NFP will maintain is the bus fare, but there is much more to just increasing the per capita grant. We will provide flexibility in the way school managements can use the grant.
Other promises include which the NFP hopes to fulfill if in government are keeping Fiji a secular state, they will reduce VAT from 15% to 10%, reducing duty on food items, establishing an education commission to look into the current curriculum, the National Topper Scholarship Scheme will be maintained, changing the minimum benchmark for scholarships, review the entire health sector, growing the economy by 5% and generating $1 billion a year.
We'll seek a review of the Constitution, which will look at other provisions like powers of the Attorney General and the Prime Minister. And within that parliamentary process of a discussion on the review of the Constitution, the NFP will be engaging with those who want the Great Council of Chiefs back, those who have other views. NFP will discuss this with sensitivity, with care, with respect and dignity for the indigenous people in this country.
Although they are political rivals, the NFP accepts there are some good things the government has done. The party maintains there will be no collision in the lead up to September 17th. Chanel Shivan, FBC News.
Still with the NFP, it's announced 4 more candidates for the September 17th elections. They are economist Dr. Sunil Kumar, Fiji Taxi Association General Secretary Rishi Ram, retired civil servant Inia Tamani, and Amrit Nath. The candidates were introduced at the NFP head office in Thamavor, Suva today. The party now has 41 candidates, and leader Professor Biman Prasad says they will contest all 50 seats in Parliament. Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama has revealed he was pressured to announce the March 2009 election date. Speaking on FBC Talkback Show For the Record, Bainimarama said it was never his intention to hold elections until Fiji was ready.
In 2007, Vorenge Bainimarama announced Fiji would be going to the polls in 2009, a timeline he now says was forced upon him.
I said we will have election in 2009 if we're ready by then. That was a pressure put on me by the Tongan Prime Minister and the Papua New Guinea Prime Minister then, to make a comment and say that we will have election in 2009. And I told them I can't make that promise because we are not ready for 2009 election. And they said just make it.
A few months after the military cleanup campaign began, Fiji was facing international pressure, sanctions and isolation from many neighboring countries. It was in the middle of all this when the March 2009 date was announced. Bainimarama said he is confident Fiji is ready for elections now because the 2013 constitution is in place and the new electoral system ensures equality and fairness. The former military commander also reveals why he's gone back on a commitment made in 2006 to not contest the election.
When we talked then, we was talking about forming a government there and then and having election there and then. But at the back of our mind, we have to put in a good constitution. That has changed the ball game altogether for everyone in Fiji.
Reacting to the tone of discussions at political rallies, the leader of the Fiji First says divisive beliefs will not spill over into violence.
I fear that this will be digested by the public at large and accepted as the truth, when it is not. That's what I fear. I don't fear any march down the streets like we had in 2000. That's not going to happen again. I can bet you my bottom dollar that's not going to happen in Fiji, not ever.
Fiji First will reveal about 15 candidates later this week. Edwin Nand, FBC News.
147 troops from the Fiji military forces are heading for peacekeeping duties in the Golan Heights. The contingent will replace the current batch, which returns home in 2 days.
Emotions were high as these men and women bid their families farewell at the Queen Elizabeth Barracks in Nambua, Suva. Leading the team is Commanding Officer Logistics Support Unit, Lieutenant Colonel Isowa Loanakandavu. The troops will be on peacekeeping duties under the United Nations Disengagement Force in the Golan Heights, which is being claimed by Syria and Israel. RFMF Commander Brigadier General Mosese Tikwetonga acknowledged the contingent's sacrifice, leaving behind their loved ones.
Make sure don't put to waste many sacrifices you are making. Do your job as you are expected to do it.
Tikwetonga says the RFMF is known as the best peacekeeping force in the world, and these troops must take responsibility of the mission. He said they're on a mission to make a better world, and the international community also acknowledges this.
Try and protect the name of our country and respect what we are known for, as that is a way that can make Fiji proud.
171 men and women who have been on duty in the Golan Heights for a year arrive home on Wednesday. Another batch of troops will leave Fiji on the 11th of next month, with the third deployment 5 days later. Chanel Shivan, FBC News.
Coming up after the break, a family of deceased sailor received compensation.
Gold FM is #1 here in Singatoka.
Gold FM is our favorite radio station here in Lautoka.
Gold FM is #1 in Nen.
I love listening to Gold FM in Ba.
We love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits here in Suva.
Hear about bottle cola, you immediately think of gold. I'm Josephine Sabi and I love hearing Gold FM.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Welcome back. This is FBC News. Fiji Labour Party leader Mahendra Chaudhry's appeal hearing has been confirmed for August 7th and 8th. Chaudhry's lawyer Anand Singh produced a letter from the Elections Office which outlined the deadline for candidate nominees to be filed with them. The letter was to allow the court to set a timetable for Chaudhry's appeal hearing. Justice Subhash Chandra ordered both Chaudhry's and the state lawyers to be present in all court sittings. Chaudhry had appealed for a stay of sentence which the court dismissed last week. He was convicted of failing to abide by the Exchange Control Act, and the case related to funds Chaudhry had kept in Australia. The family of a fisherman who fell overboard whilst on a foreign fishing vessel and disappeared in Tahiti has received $24,000 in compensation. The money will be distributed amongst the parents and siblings of the deceased fisherman Tomu Toromai, who has been lost at sea since February 9th this year. Vosita Kotewasawasa reports.
Tomu Koimoala Toromai's parents received $6,000 each today from Labour Minister Choneu Samate. Toromai's father, Joe Toromai, says even though the compensation will provide a bit of a relief to their struggles, it will not bring back their son.
Even though we receive this money, it will not bring back our son. We would like to thank the minister and his ministry for providing all this for us. Thank you so much.
Usamate attributed the compensation payout to the parent company of the fishing vessel, Rochang Ocean Fishing Company Limited.
We're very thankful that the employer was willing to cough up, give up the money that has been now paid, even though it is not compensation.
Toromai was a crew member on the Chinese fishing vessel Lurong Yong Yu 205, which had suffered mechanical problems and anchored in the Tahiti waters. A police investigation revealed Toromai, who was believed to be intoxicated, lost his footing, fell into the open sea and disappeared. A 72-hour search was conducted by the vessel, but to no avail. Wasita Kotewasa, FBC News.
There's a need to ensure young girls have the means to be pregnant, not by chance but by choice. The United Nations Population Fund is working closely with governments of the Pacific, including Fiji, to highlight this. Akosita Tale reports.
Contraception services should be provided throughout the country, not only in urban areas, but to the most rural location as well. The United Nations Population Fund says it helps girls and young couples make the right decision.
So we don't want, young girls to be, pregnant at early age. This has a negative impact on their health, on their future income, on how they will go into the job market, and also on their education if they want to continue their education.
With close to 150,000 youths aged 15 to 24 in the country, there is a need for readily available services and counseling centers.
They are open, in hours where young people can go, and they could have access, to contraceptive, and to advice, and, to counseling, in terms of, when to be pregnant and to be pregnant by, by choice, not by chance.
Providing these services will enable young individuals to promote a positive view of making informed choices about their sexual and reproductive health when planning to begin a family.
Well, the way they will plan their family, to have a right-sized family, we call it, to have a family, with a number of children that they can manage, they can be responsible for, that they can invest, in terms of education, housing, and so on.
Promoting healthy habits and ensuring education, employment opportunities and access to health services for the young population will reduce the increasing number of teenage pregnancies and improve the lives of future generations. Akusita Tale, FBC News.
Here's Jamie now to start off a new week of sports, and what do you have for us?
Thank you, Jackie, and good evening. What better way to start off the new week but with some great news for Fijian sports. A new IRB clause will allow former Fijian rugby stars of Tier 1 nations like New Zealand, Australia and England to now wear the Fiji jumper. Find out more after the break.
Ito singa ta kondo tali ta na barong na Radio Fijian na station yal motua.
Ako na koro ko na tali ta. Mandaw tali ta kini na barong Radio Fijian.
Kitongo isu untuk tali ta na barong na Radio Fijian station yal motua.
Keto tali ta na Radio Fijian. Na Radio Fijian endo tali ta kitalanga Singoka.
A station in Machino Pinatia na Radio Fijian. Konkan Beyanyan.
Na Radio Fijian nandu mo ibitin honga ni BNN.
Welcome back to FBC Sports. What if I told you that world-famous Fijian rugby stars like Joe Rokodoko, Sitiveni Sivivatu or Loterai Kambula could play for Fiji? Well, now they can, if they decide to, that is. A new IRB eligibility clause has given these former stars of Tier 1 countries a chance to feature for their home nations. The clause, which has come about due to the 2016 Olympics, has been welcomed by Fiji Sevens coach Ben Ryan.
Available and, it's an emotional subject, nationality and playing for different nations. And so the first thing would have to be that any of these players that are eligible have a real desire and appetite to come back to the islands and play for Fiji. And if that was the case, then you're right. There's a fairly long list of players that are able to come back and play. Sometimes these regulations look simple on paper, but the reality is that that often they'll be put under pressure from their clubs to remain playing club rugby and not come and play international rugby. But for some of these boys, there's an attraction twofold, really. Come back and play for the country.
More good news for rugby. British and Irish Lions rugby legend Brian O'Driscoll wants the 2017 team to play a match in the Pacific Islands. Planet Rugby reports that O'Driscoll, who was part of 4 Lions tours, said that the game should be played instead of one such as 2013's match against the Barbarians in Hong Kong. The former island skipper says it's probably more of a give than take for the Lions to play in the Pacific Islands. However, he adds it would be great for the people in the islands and it would probably take away from that commercial feel that has tagged the Lions. The retired player's stance comes after the All Blacks agreed to play a game in Samoa ahead of the 2015 World Cup. The Nandronga Rugby Union has always been a leader on and off the field when it comes to achieving the best. Now another feather on the cap for the Stallions as they will host New Zealand's North Otago next month. As Indra Singh reports, while the union is excited, the match also fits in perfectly with their development plan.
On August 5th, that will be a level up from local games and local competition that we normally do prepare for.
Part of their development plans are to undertake tours abroad to expose Nandronga players to the top level, and this visit by the Kiwis will further help in that.
This is something that we've always pushed for. We are always striving to fundraise, to raise funds, to be able to accommodate our proposed overseas tours. But now that we are hosting overseas teams, this is in fact a boost to our development program. So instead of traveling overseas and playing against these top teams, we will be here and we will be playing against them right in our doorsteps, and that is something that we are really looking forward to.
Nandronga will also be playing in the semi-final of the Skipper Cup during the same week, but such is the depth the union is able to select 2 teams of equal strength.
Full of players that we do have is a number of players that we do have is no stranger to Fiji rugby as a whole in terms of our development programs, and for that we have a team that will play in the final at the end of that week. And in the same final, and we also have a team that will play against the Northern Otago.
A big first week of August lies ahead for the Nandronga rugby fraternity. Lessons will be learnt by this outfit, which will surely see them even get stronger for its domestic outings. Indra Singh, FBC Sports.
It was a proud moment for young British Navy officer Tara Tuivanga as she raised the Fiji flag at Team Fiji's flag-raising ceremony at the Glasgow Commonwealth Games Village this morning. The Fijian lass is based in Portsmouth, England, and was brought up to Glasgow to be part of the ceremony. Team Fiji, PNG and the Falkland Islands shared the morning's flag-raising ceremonies. Carried out by a group of young Glasgow performers, the flag-raising ceremony has set the pace for an exciting and colourful games opening on Thursday. Team Fiji, looking very smart in their noble banner blue walkout uniforms, drew many comments from spectators. The morning's program included an exchange of gifts between Chef de Mission Lyndall Fisher and the Provost of Glasgow. Team Fiji will start its campaign at the Games on Friday with swimming, lawn bowls and weightlifting. Suva maintains its lead on the Fiji Sun Skippertuna National Football League points table and is now 6 points clear. The Whites beat Navoa 3-2 in a hard-fought match yesterday to remain as the only unbeaten team and currently sit with 24 points in the league. Meanwhile, Nandi, after its 2-1 win over Mba, is now second, while the Men in Black sit on third place. Navoa is at the bottom of the points table with 4. And in matches this weekend, Ba takes on Nandronga, Lambasa plays Rewa, while Nandi battles Navoa. A new sport is set to take the country by storm. Chuk ball was launched in the country today with the students of Holy Trinity Primary School getting their chance to try their hand in the sport. The organizers in Fiji want the sport played and enjoyed by youngsters, and it has also been branded safe as there is minimal contact.
It's a non-contact sport. Anyone can play, size does not matter. You cannot win the ball from your opponent, and I think this game will go well to schools because there's a lot of sports injuries going on now. This will go well to most of the schools.
You play it's like a basketball court, the size,
you play 7 against 7. When you play on the ground like this or on the beach, it's going to be 5 against 5.
That was sports for this evening. It's back to Jackie now with business.
Government's objective in creating employment opportunities and income-generating projects is paying dividends for families in Lomaivuna, Naitasiri. In 2011, 5 families were moved from their squatter settlements and relocated to Lomaivuna to carry out agricultural activities as a form of employment. Today, they have collected more than $25,000 in profits from selling ginger for domestic and international export markets. The project for this year includes Lomaivuna and Vanuakula in Naitasiri, Maumi in Tailevu, Nativi in Ra, and Nalotawa in Ba. More than 150 households from these areas have benefited from this program. Now with our weather bulletin today, here's Trish.
Thanks, Jackie. Looking at today's map, for today's conditions, well, we have Suva with fine weather in the morning and cloudy skies later in the day. Savu with showers all day long, and as for Lambasa, cloudy skies all throughout the day. Rest of the centers, Nandi, Lotoka and Ba, all had fine weather all day long. Today's temperatures, we had Suva on 28, Nandi and Lotoka on 30, Ba 31, Savu on 27, and Lambasa on 31. As for tomorrow's forecast, Suva and Savu might have occasional showers all day. Nandi, Lotoka and Ba might have cloudy skies with afternoon occasional showers. Lambasa, cloudy skies in the morning with also a chance of occasional afternoon showers. For mariners, southwesterly winds 10 to 15 knots and moderate seas. Now with the image of the day, folks, as you can see here, Ratnesh Kumar Bobby took this picture at Yangara in Ra.
Thanks so much for that, Trish. Our top stories once again. National Federation Party manifesto has adopted some of the policies of the current government. Porenge Bainimarama says he was pressured into March 2009 election commitment. A new batch of troops off to Golan Heights for peacekeeping duties. Now onto our Fijian Speak segment. This is what some Fijians had to say today.
I was brought up in a religious family, yeah? And I think religious plays an important role in political.
Religion plays also an important role in politics, and we respect other religion.
Generally, yes, it plays an important role.
Religion and politics are two different things, so they basically don't go together.
And to receive the latest headlines on your mobile phone, text subspace FBC to 777. That's all from us this evening. Until tomorrow, good evening.
Mirchi FM is #1 in Singapore.
I love Mirchi FM, it's so hot.
Here at Rugby Town, Singapore, love listening to Mirchi FM. Mirchi FM, it's hot.
Mirchi FM is #1 in
Take
Singapore.
me loud, kai me high.
Thank you, tau for me.
Mirchi
FM is hot. Mirchi FM, bau julung julung.